Oli Oli, it's me, Gauri. Welcome back. Welcome back. I didn't record last week because I was getting ready for a new job that I manifested. So, okay, I don't know why I didn't realize that I was recording only like from here to up. So, apologies. Enjoy the content. I'm not about to re record everything that I just said. So the main thing that resonated with me, talked about fear and replacing fear with faith. And that really hit home because when I was 12 years old, I stopped believing in God. And that story is for another day. But basically, my relationship with my faith was kind of ruptured for a long time. And then in 2020 is when things happened in my life that I started to believe in God again. I redefined my relationship with God. And so the episode where she talked about replacing fear with faith, she talked about facing your fears in a way of taking it all the way to the end. So literally, if there's something that you fear, essentially imagine the worst case scenario. Like imagine the worst that could happen. And then once you're imagining that, make peace with it. Make peace with the worst case scenario. And then that basically takes away its power. It takes away the power of that fear because you only fear it because of the importance that you're placing on it. And she also mentioned that the biological or chemical reactions of fear and excitement are the same. So it's really the judgment that you place on something that makes it scary, essentially. So I was like, damn. But then she said also, after you visualize, the worst thing happening and make peace with it, then imagine the best case scenario. Like, what is the best that could happen? And I really like that she mentioned that because honestly, for my life, like for my reality, the best case scenario is the more likely scenario. Like, that's just what I have established in my life because I stay blessed, protected, and highly favored always. And so, yeah. So, yeah. And then, so I was going to start this new job, right? And okay, let's talk about that. First of all, let's talk about that because I really did manifest that. So, mind you, the job that I had before this was like an independent contractor role. And I really loved it. I was able to help this community organization grow. And I was able to use my creativity, my design skills, and work from home, which is such a blessing. But the only thing is that their funding was ending at the end of the year of 2025. And so essentially, I was like, well, I have to get another job now. So, but I am so proud of myself because I never really panicked. Like, other people were kind of panicking for me, like worried for me. But I was like, I know an opportunity is going to come up that is aligned. And so I just stayed regulating my nervous system. And anyway, so when I came back from Mexico, I was looking on LinkedIn. I was like, damn, I really should get a job pretty soon. Like, you know? And so I'm looking on LinkedIn and I see that a firm that I interned at when I was in undergrad was hiring. But the post was from like 2 weeks ago. And so I was like, damn, I don't know if maybe they're still hiring or like maybe they already found somebody for the position. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to reach out. I'm just going to reach out and see if they're hiring because if they're hiring, the position is mine. I literally said that and I literally told my friend too. Um I was like, yeah, if they're still hiring, that position is mine. Tell me why. Less than 30 minutes later. Oh, cuz I reached out on LinkedIn to the founder. Tell me why. 30 minutes later, he replies and he was like, always wonderful to hear from you, Claudia. I think you would be perfect for us, like for the company and everything. And I was like, wow, period. Like, wow. And so, and yeah, and that was kind of pretty much it. Like, I interviewed and everything, of course. And it really did feel so nice to receive that recognition from the founder, like that I had reached out to, like saying it's always wonderful to hear from you. Like that just it just warmed my heart, that even after all these years that my energy would be remembered, and honored and valued. And so yeah, that was very reassuring. So I was happy about that. I was like, the energy that I put out there, the passion that I bring to any team, and like the commitment to community, and all of these things that the firm stands for, that are very in alignment with my values already. It was just such beautiful confirmation, really. And on top of it, that was my favorite firm when I did internships during undergrad. Like that was my favorite firm to work at. And I just remembered too that a couple of months before, my mom had told me, like, have you ever considered, you know, going back to work at one of the firms that you interned at? And I literally said, I was like, yeah, the one I was actually considering that, and the one that I would consider going back to is that one, the one that I'm working at now. So I was like, period. Um, oh, and also something that touches on what M says about let luck meet preparation. So I kind of did, in a way, prepare for that because I primed my brain to be like, the one firm that I would be down to go back to and contribute to would be that one. But also on the part about let luck meet preparation, I had been booked to cat sit because I also do cat sitting as like a side thing because I just love cats. And then I get paid to like play with them and feed them. I'm like, period. So, anyways, so I had gotten booked basically as soon as I got back from Mexico. I got booked to cat sit, and it was an early start time. Like had to be there like between 9 and 9:30. And I was like, oh, damn, like, I've been sleeping in this whole time, I'm going to have to, and now that I have a new routine, thanks to the program as well, I have a new routine. So that means I have to wake up even like 2 hours ahead of time of when I need to be there. So all of this. But then in my mind, I was like, but you know what? Maybe this opportunity for cat sitting and that I have to be there early is just preparing me for another opportunity. Like maybe I don't know right now what it is, but I feel like maybe another opportunity is coming, and this is universe preparing me to wake up early for the next opportunity. Right? And it happened. It literally happened. So that was amazing. Amazing. But anyways, relating it back to the replacing fear with faith and taking your fear all the way to the end. Okay. At the end of the module, M had like a little activity. Basically, ask yourself, what fear is holding me back right now? Like, just think about a fear and take it all the way to the end. And so I was like, And so when I started journaling, it was at first more general, like fear of the unknown. And then I was like, okay, but what specifically, like how is that affecting me right now? And then I figured out that it was related to this new role that I was going to start. And essentially, I realized that I was a little bit nervous about starting the new role because of the nature of like that it's a 9 to 5 job. Well, it's actually 9 to 6. And so with an hour of lunch. So I realized that I was kind of letting that concept of a 9 to 5, like, I feel like in society we just have this concept of it being like you dread your 9 to 5, and it's like people say like, "Oh, I'm selling my soul in a 9 to 5." I'm like, not me, bitch. No, so that's what I was realizing. Like, that's kind of what I was nervous about. Like, that's what I was fearing. Like, what if I dread it? Like, what if I don't like it? Especially because my previous role, I was working from home, whatever hours that I wanted. And I was like, okay. So I identified that. And also, just some people, like what they were telling me, they're like, oh, yeah, 9 to 5 job is so hard and blah, blah, blah. Like, you're going to be exhausted and all this. So, like, projecting those projections, basically, I was like, mm. So, but then when I realized, I'm like, that's not me. Like, that's not my thinking. Like, I'm just kind of, that I was just letting what other people were telling me, or like the societal expectation of a 9 to 5 to basically guide my emotions, like making me nervous. And I was like, no, we are putting it into this. Well, first, the part about taking it all the way to the end, I was basically like, okay, so what's the worst that can happen? That I don't like it, that I'm unhappy at my new job, and I would still be okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. And I reminded myself, I would still, even if I was unhappy, like, I have been unhappy in other roles in ways that I know this job will not make me feel. Like, I know that this new role that I'm stepping into is going to be way better compared to previous jobs that I've had. And so at the end of the day, I'm still winning. I'm still winning. So once I realized that, I was like, okay, period. Like, I know that this opportunity, this new role, I'm going to thrive in. It is going to be very aligned with the growth and the goals that I set for this year for myself. And I know I'm gonna have fun, like, because I've worked there before and I had fun. Like, it was my favorite place. So I know that I'm not gonna be dreading it or whatever that other people were projecting onto me. Like, that's not my reality. That's not my reality. Especially because it all happened in such a quick way. Like, that's how I know that it's an aligned decision. Like, it's an aligned opportunity. The way that things moved so quickly. So I'm very grateful for that. And then, so I did my first week. I worked my first week and it was amazing. Like, I love my coworkers. Everyone is so friendly and I get to be creative. I get to use skills that I have already, that I learned in undergrad. So I feel accomplished and I feel like I'm really going to grow in this role. And so I'm very excited to see and I realized like how also I realized how important my role is. Like, basically, if my role didn't exist, like if the team that I'm on didn't exist, there would be no firm. So I'm like, okay, bet. Bet. Like, I take it as an opportunity to also practice my powers, like practice my manifestation powers by securing opportunities for the firm. And yeah, there's like some really cool opportunities that have come up already that I get excited about. So yeah, so I was like, period. Like, my expectation is that I'm gonna like my job. Like, I'm not gonna be dreading to go to my job. Like, I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna have fun. And it's true. Like, so far it's great. I love it. So yes, so very excited for this new chapter. And then the module that I just watched yesterday was the abundance rewrite. And yeah, that module, Em was talking about having an abundance mindset that I guess at the time that she filmed that episode, she decided that she was going to go that 1 month all in on her abundance mindset. And she did mention that it's good to go all in on one topic just to like really wire it into your brain, and that helps it to, I guess, continue long term. But yeah, there were a few things that stood out for me from that episode that I already started implementing. Like one of them, she says that when she spends money on anything, she says every dollar that I spend comes back to me times 10. I was like, oh, that's so cute. And then, so I started doing that already. And I'll literally like calculate, like, if I, like right now, I ordered some things on DoorDash because it's literally snowing. It's literally a snowstorm outside. And, um, and like before clicking to confirm the payment, I was like, every dollar I spend comes back to me times 10. And then I was like, I multiplied it times 10. I was like, okay, so I expect like $400 to come back to me. And then I was like, bing, you know? And so, and then what else? The other thing. Oh, yeah. And then something that I thought was so cute and funny that she said was like, if there's ever a voice of doubt that comes up, like a thought that is just doubtful of your abundance or anything, like of your worthiness, things like that, that you can say say your thought like, that's just a thought and I respectfully disagree. I thought that was so cute. So today, like earlier, there was a thought that creeped in that I was like, I just respectfully disagree. Like, that is not the case for me anymore. Like, that might have been the story from the past, but not no more. Not, it does not define my present or my future. And that's on period. So that's cool. I'm gonna start applying that. And also something that neuro knowledge says is that when your old frequency starts to like tries to get your attention, like to have like feelings of doubt or things like that, that is basically just your old frequency feeling threatened because you're about to level up. And so I was like, you know what? It was just like two thoughts of doubt. But I was like, you know what? You sound threatened, old frequency. That means I'm about to level all the way up. I'm on the verge of a breakthrough. And you nervous about it. You nervous about it. Pobrecito. Pobrecita. Ya, vete a llorar y ya. But yeah. And something that I feel was very thoughtful of her to say was that, well, aside from the fact that she already says about how you don't want, like, for example, you don't want money, like, you want the feelings that you think money will bring you. And so think about ways that you can activate those feelings in the now. So, but something further that she said was about, like, don't chase money because, first of all, you will repel it if you chase it. Because she said if you think about money, like if you want money and you think the feelings that will bring you money are safety, security, and freedom, then what you really want is longevity. So you should build something. Like, you should aim to build something instead of chasing money itself. Like, don't do things for money. Do it. Well, I also feel like in general, you should just do things for the joy of it, like for the growth, expansion that it will bring you. And like having that perspective instead of like this object, you know what I mean? So yeah, I thought that was a very good point about like, what are you building? Like, think about what you want to build, what you want to contribute to the world. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? You right. You right. And tell me why when I was in the shower, I got out the shower and I had a thought just come to me. I was actually thinking about my new job and my role and how I can see it as a way to practice my powers, right? And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to talk to the founder and learn more about what his vision is for this office in Texas, and so that I can help manifest it, basically. And so, and then I was like, yeah, I feel like I can just do that in my regular life, helping people to manifest things. Like, if my coworkers, my friends and family, like everything that I'm learning, I can help people that I'm close to like manifest and accomplish their goals. And then I was also thinking about my priorities and goals for 2026. Like, a lot of them are about mastery. And I was like, I think that's why I say that I want to become a master, like master in specific things, like my finances and over my words. And so ultimately, I want to be a master at the game of life. And but it's not like obviously I know it's an like ever expanding infinite thing, so I'm not like, oh, once I'm a master I'm done. Like, no, like it's a constant evolution, and that's what I love about it. But essentially what I realized is I want to become a master over my life, over the game of my life, in order to have the kind of credibility of like, this is what I did, this is how I did this is how I manifested this or that, and then help people do the same, but like in their own lives. And so I was like, wow. And I was like, yeah, I want to like coach people on how to do that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to coach people. Like, I want to be like a life coach or like a manifestation coach. And so that realization it felt so exciting for me because I was like, oh my gosh, like I can just do that in my everyday life. And in that way, kind of gather testimonials and to start my own business. And that can be like what I'm building, and get paid for it. That's amazing. Like, that's amazing. Like, I'm helping people manifest things in their lives. And then that way, I'm also contributing to my life theme, which is from my human design, which is being an example of transformation and helping others as well. And to achieve the transformations that they want in their lives. So I was like, wow, this is so amazing. And I think it also helps me to reinforce my why, because I had actually seen a notification from Chani that said setting goals is great, but understanding the why behind them, or like that's driving them, is even better. And so I guess that had kind of stuck in my mind. And then now, just yesterday, I got the answer. I got the answer behind my why. I got the why of my goals for 2026. Like, now I have that for my brain to understand why these goals are building, like what they're building up to, essentially. So yeah, I stay learning more about myself and being proud of myself. So it's a great journey. It's a great journey, and I wish you the same. Um, yeah, to be continued. Bye for now, and remember, stay true, stay blessed. Mwah.